Hi, this is Lauren from Daisy Cottage Designs, and I'm just here with a quick video tutorial. Not really a tutorial, but a little bit of a fact video for the Messy Bun Hat. I'm just going to show you how I start the hat. So how I work around the chain loop and the hair elastic, how I get started on the first couple of rounds, and then I'm going to answer a couple questions really quickly before we get started. The thing that I've been emailed the most is, this hat is a little bit too big, what could I do? Now the first thing you need to do is you need to check to see how you're wearing it. If you're wearing the hat directly on your head, it is going to be bigger than mine because I wear my bun back here. So if you're trying it on without a bun, or your bun is right up on top of your head as opposed to being a little bit more back here, your hat is definitely going to come down to about here. Mine does if I pull it directly on my head. But when your bun's back here, it's going to pull your hat up and it's going to hit in the right spot. The next thing is I crochet a little bit on the tight side. So if you find that your hat is still a little bit too big, if you put it on the way I do, then you're just gonna need to go down a couple hook sizes and you might need to take a row or two off. So that is not a problem. It's not going to change the overall look of your hat. It's still going to have the right look. It's going to fit fine if you go down a couple couple hook sizes, not a couple hat patterns. So one thing that I would do though is take out double crochet rounds. So take out 1 or 2 double crochet rounds and keep your 4 single crochet rows at the bottom. I think it's 4. And that'll just give you a more finished look. So what we're gonna go do now is I have a video that I've recorded of me making the hat, and I'm going to try to put these two together. I am not a videographer by any means. I don't know how to do much video editing. That's something that I need to learn how to do in 2017, so we'll see how it goes. But hopefully this will just help you get a good start and you'll be able to do a messy bun hat. So this will help you get started on either the chunky messy bun hat or the regular one or the children's ones, because it's just going to help you get started. So I hope you have a great day. And you're going to start with worsted weight yarn, an I crochet hook, and a hair elastic. I like to use these thin hair elastics. I have to make sure I stay in the frame here because I don't know, I just have always liked these better. They stretch a lot. Now, you're not going to be stretching this too much if you put your ponytail on first and then form your bun. Now, if you're going over a bun, you're going to have to get pretty big, but I think it should be good and last a while. But either use 2 or 3 of these or start with a chain loop about the same size as your hair elastic. So let's start with the chain loop. So I'm gonna make my chain, and I think I just did that wrong. It's so funny how the things you do a million times can seem hard when you're on a video. All right, so I'm going to chain. I'm gonna start with about 20. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then I'm gonna test that to the size of my loop. Now that's like the exact same size as my rubber band, and I want it to be a little bit bigger just so it can stretch a little bit if it needs to, so I'm gonna add 2. And that's gonna be about the size I want. So then slip stitch to make a loop. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my rubber band right on top of that or with it. And now I'm gonna work around that. So chain 2. And in this pattern, your chain 2 is not counting as a stitch. So make sure you remember that. And then you're gonna do your 33 double crochets around. So you're gonna yarn over, go underneath the chain loop and your elastic, and then double crochet around that. So you're gonna go until you have 33. And of course I haven't been counting. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 6. And I know I hold my yarn funny. I've been told I hold my yarn funny since I started crocheting, but it works for me. Maybe this year I'll learn how to hold my yarn better. But you know what? I've learned in crocheting, you just gotta do what works for you. And I really have not been counting, so in a minute I'm gonna have to stop and count my double crochets. But The reason I like to make my chain loop a little bit bigger than my elastic is because I want to have a little bit of stretch. And the reason you need both or several elastics is that if your elastic breaks and you don't have any backup, your hat could potentially just fall apart, and you definitely don't want all your work to go down the drain. This yarn is a Hobby Lobby yarn. Well, I don't know if it's just a Hobby Lobby, but it's called Yarn Bee. Denim in Color, I think is what it's called, and I really like this yarn. It's hard to tell in pictures and in the video, but there's just the teeniest, tiniest, maybe, if you could even call it that, bit of sparkle. So let me just go ahead and count really quick how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22, so we need 11 more. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. I sure hope that's still recording. It says my battery is low. And hopefully I can finish before my battery totally dies. 29, 30, so 3 more. 31, 32, 33. Now, I know right now this doesn't look like the neatest thing in the world. So I'm going to spread these out. But it doesn't matter because your bun is going to be covering all of that. But once you lay it out and you finagle your double crochets to where they're neatly around that loop, it looks good. Okay, so now when you join, so you have a little extra room there, so when you stretch it, you have some room. Okay, so the most important thing on this pattern, and several people have been saying their hats are too big. If you work into this top of this chain 2, you are going to get a bigger hat because each round you're going to have more stitches than I did, because I work an extra stitch in each round so I can double crochet, so I can slip stitch to the top of that double crochet. So I skip the chain and then slip stitch to the top of the first real double crochet, okay? So then in the next round you'll chain 2, work into that same stitch, and then double crochet into the next stitch, and then work 2 double crochets into the third stitch, okay? And you're gonna do that all the way around. 1, 2, and so on this round, I don't count my stitches as I go, because my pattern is just 1 stitch, 1 stitch, 2 stitches. All the way around. So, I don't have much time for this video. We live next door to my mom and dad, believe it or not. And my little girl goes over to practice violin with my mom in the mornings during school time. She's in 2nd grade, so she just finished her math facts, and now she's over practicing violin. So I just thought, you know what? And then my middle child went with her, and the baby's napping. So while I had a few minutes, I thought, I'm gonna try this, because I just got a new stand to hopefully make a few videos. I've been getting a lot of requests for videos. So, almost done with the 2nd round. Just doing a double crochet in 1 stitch, a double crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 double crochets in the next. and that's an increase round because you're working 2 double crochets into stitches. All right, my last 3, I'm gonna do a double crochet, and then 2 double crochets into the last one. And this is where you have to be careful again. You don't work into the top of the chain 2, you go straight to the top of the first real double crochet. So here's what you have after the end of round 2. And again, this right here has a little bit of a gap because we've got some extra room for stretch. Don't worry about that because your bun is totally going to cover that, unless you have a really tiny bun. But then when you're weaving your end, you can go ahead and close that up a little bit, all right? So that is at the end of your second round, and then you'll just keep working and following the pattern, and as you get out, then it'll start rounding down. Well, thank you for watching. I hope that video helped answer some of your questions about the Messy Bun Hat. If you have any further questions, you can leave a comment on my blog or email me at lauren@daisycottagedesigns.net. That's lauren@daisycottagedesigns.net. Thanks. Bye-bye.